Y'all welcome. This is Ms. Josie McDaniel Burkett, who will be signing for us. Welcome. We're glad to have you here.
It's good to see you.
We appreciate y'all coming out on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. As you know, out in the ocean there's quite a hurricane. Last we know is it's up at about 185 miles an hour. We do not know when it will arrive here or what strength it will have when it arrives here, but we are preparing. This is our 5th year in a row that we've done this, and so we are. Team South Carolina is highly activated again. We've already begun the movement of people and material and equipment to the places where it needs to be, and whatever happens, we'll be ready, and we will certainly keep you informed of what is happening. Hurricane Dorian, as I said, is now a Category 5. That's 185 miles an hour. I issued a state of emergency declaration yesterday. That state of emergency declaration allows state and local emergency management officials to begin staging resources and assets along the coast in preparation of the hurricane. Also, I spoke with President Trump by video conference today, just a few minutes ago, along with other governors and his entire team about the preparations in South Carolina. And of course, he offered any and all federal assistance that we may need. I've asked the President for a federal emergency declaration that will allow for direct federal resources to be accessed by Team South Carolina to assist in hurricane preparation efforts. We expect that declaration to be granted very soon. We've already made the declaration, which allows our agencies to be reimbursed with federal funds. We did that earlier during the week. The State Law Enforcement National Guard and the first responders have been fully mobilized. South Carolina Department of Transportation has increased the number of their motorist assistant trucks on I-95 and I-26. All the South Carolina welcome centers and rest areas are open and staffed 24 hours a day. DHEC has alerted all private dam owners to prepare for notification to lower water levels in advance of significant amounts of rainfall. Department of Social Services is preparing to open their shelters across the state if and as needed. And of course, as always, we will continue to monitor the storm. Again, we're monitoring 24 hours a day, not only from this place, but around the state. 24 hours a day, we're monitoring the storm, and we'll make further announcements as the time comes to make those announcements. Do you have any questions?
Governor, when you said resources have been activated and mobilized, can you elaborate on that? Is that National Guard troops moving to staging areas?
It is indeed. General McCarty, please.
Yes, the National Guard, based upon the governor's executive order, has been mobilized. We have approximately 1,000 soldiers and airmen now that are being brought up. They will initially report to their units, and then we will move them on to their staging areas to be in a position to support directions given by the governor in response to the storm.
Also, Director Christy Hall.
Thank you, Governor.
Yes, ma'am.
So we have 2,000 of our employees ready for and preparing for what may be coming our way. As the governor mentioned, we have increased our presence along our vital routes in the state to make sure that we're able to keep traffic flowing. And at this point in time, all traffic is moving well around and through the state.
Director Leroy Smith, please.
Thank you, Governor. Department of Public Safety, coordinating ESF 16, we have 2,785 law enforcement and National Guard personnel assigned to ESF 16 for traffic management efforts. With regard to I-95, we have increased our staffing on the I-95 corridor from the Georgia state line to the North Carolina state line to keep the traffic flowing. So far, things are operating very smoothly. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you very much. And there is more, but let's have John Quirello to give us the weather report, please.
Thank you, Governor. Good afternoon. As the Governor had mentioned, Dorian is currently a Category 5 hurricane with wind speeds of 185 miles per hour over the northwestern Bahamas, and in fact it makes it the strongest hurricane in modern records for the northwestern Bahamas. Dorian is expected to slowly near the east coast of Florida Monday night into Tuesday before starting to turn northward and increase in forward speed. The latest forecast from the National Hurricane Center indicates that Dorian will track just off the South Carolina coast late Wednesday and Thursday, likely still as a powerful hurricane. It's important to remember that this track can change over the next couple of days, and only a small change in the track will have large implications on the potential impacts here in South Carolina. So at this point, everyone should be preparing now for potentially significant impacts along the coast Wednesday and Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, Director Kim Stinson, would you give us an overview, please?
Yes, sir. Glad to. The State Emergency Operations Center right now is at OPCON 1, that's Operating Condition 1, which is our full readiness level, and that's for us to be able to coordinate any state response we might have to do in the near term. Our current priorities are evacuation planning and possible sheltering, and then follow on with any initial response and damage assessment. We stay in contact with the local emergency managers in all the counties, especially the coastal counties. They're doing pretty much the same thing that we're doing, is taking a look at potential planning scenarios. In terms of logistics, we have got a number of logistics contracts that we have on standby if we need them. We've got a pretty fully stocked warehouse up in Winnsboro with over 500 pallets of food, MREs, meals ready to eat, and over 750 pallets of water, as well as 150,000 sandbags and almost 10,000 tarps, those blue tarps for temporary repair if we need them, so they're available. The only other thing two other things really I wanted to mention. One, it's very important for all of us as citizens here in South Carolina to be our own emergency manager. Take a look at the threats that you might be affected by, make the appropriate plans, and we've got some tools for you to use to help you with that. We've got our website at scemd.org, which has lots of information, not just for hurricanes, but any other disaster we might have. And then last year we fielded a new tool for your smartphone or your cell phone, and that's the South Carolina Emergency Manager app, which basically has everything on the website and helps you develop your own plan, have your own checklist. You can actually put in important information in there and carry that around with you and as we move forward mobily these days. And then the last item I want to mention is this is strictly not just a coastal event with a hurricane potentially affecting South Carolina, but certainly could see inland issues with winds and possibly flooding as we move through the process. So again, it's not strictly a coastal event. It could very well strike far inland. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Are there any questions?
Governor, is there any concerns with flooding near the Columbia Canal?
Well, as Director Stinson just said, there's always a possibility of those things happening. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how strong the storm or hurricane's going to be when it gets here. If it gets here, we don't know if it's going to be on land or out in the ocean. It's just too early to predict those things. But as you know, last time with Hurricane Florence, we had a lot of flooding that we had never seen before. Not in many, many years at the very least. So we are preparing for the worst. We're hoping for the best. But the message is to be prepared because we know what's coming. It's going to affect everybody in the state to some degree. So be prepared.
Any idea what the timing would be in terms of potential evacuations or
No,
getting
sir.
that notice out?
It's too early for all of those considerations. We're monitoring around the clock, have good information coming in, but it's always subject to change.
What's your message to the people at home today? Who are
Be
concerned?
prepared. Be prepared. This is a hurricane. As the president said, we've not seen such power in a hurricane, 185 miles an hour. That's Category 5 and going towards whatever the top of that is. We don't have a solid prediction as to where it might turn, where it might not turn, when it'll get here, but we assure you we have the best minds and the most experienced and talented people around the clock working on it to be able to tell the people of South Carolina, and we're in communication with the other governor's offices on the coast. That's been constant as well. So when we get the information, we'll relay it out and do so in a fashion that's clear and easy to understand. But always, you must be prepared. We live on the coast, so we're going to have hurricanes. This is one more of them. Thank you very much.